Here we go. It's time now for the new Variety Art Show. Hi, everybody. My name is Brad Zinn. I'm glad you're here. And hush up over there. It's as tough enough as it is. I'm your host, Brad Zinn, as we get ready to meet another exciting guest from the world of variety arts entertainment. I'm going to reserve judgment on that, however, until a little bit later. We want you to know the reason we go through all this madness every week is to let you meet a variety arts entertainer and get to know them on a personal basis, so the next time you see a variety arts performer live and in person, you'll appreciate what they do just a little bit more. And if you have any thoughts or comments on the show, we'd like to hear from you. Of course, the number, as always, is area code. Please get in touch with us if you have an event to promote, or if you're a variety arts performer would like to be on the show, please get in touch with us. We'll see what we can do. And here's somebody who got in touch with us, and we said, sure, you can be on the show. It's our musical director, Van Corrigan.
Thanks, Brad. You know, I run into people all the time that tell me they watch this. I don't know how they find the channel, you know, since we moved.
It's moved, but,
but they find
okay.
us. Yeah, it's great to be back at the old 80. No, there aren't 80 something.
Not on this one. We haven't counted. You better take inventory while we're waiting here.
Okay.
But you play the 9-foot
Steinway. It's a concert
at the fabulous Phoenician Hotel. Every day.
Every day.
3 to 5, is that right?
3 to 5.
3 to 5 for tea. And
so even on July 4th, when I felt really tacky serving British tea on July 4th, it's all British.
That must have been. What, did you play Yankee Doodle Dandy?
I did, but they're sipping their imported British tea. It felt really funny.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of the July 4th weekend, Van. Yes. There was an interesting incident that happened to a friend of ours, Ferd Haverly. You heard about this.
Yeah.
This is the weekend that Danny Ray Horning was on the loose in the canyon.
Right. Yeah.
And they finally captured him, of course, but we found out from Ferd that he was coming back from Colorado with his wife and his old Volkswagen van. No, it was a big van, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And the police stopped him at a roadblock, and I guess they must have mistaken him for an escaped con or something, because they pulled the guns and they dropped behind the doors of their DPS vehicles, and they pulled the gun, and he was yelling, "My wife's in the back."
Wow.
So it was kind of a little tense up there. Anyway, we're glad to say that Ferd's okay right now. And we're glad Danny Ray Horning is back in the cell. Yeah. And now that he is back in his cell, perhaps he will get new Variety Art Show on his cable channel.
If he can find it.
If he can find it in all the change-up. Well, listen, our guest today, very exciting. This gentleman is back with us again this week, because we didn't get a chance to finish talking to him last time he was here. He is a comedian, a magician, a headliner at comedy clubs all around the country. He's truly a local boy made good, and I'm glad to say he's a good friend of mine. He was a runner-up, a finalist, semi-finalist on Star Search with Ed McMahon, and he won the Silver Lion's Head Award from Siegfried and Roy up there in Las Vegas. Yeah,
strong stuff.
And we're going to find out all about that right after we take a look at this clip of our guest today, Michael Finney, performing on a recent appearance on Comic Strip Live. Don't go away.
Welcome, Michael Finney.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But keep in mind that I didn't always want to be a magician, but when my sister told me she was getting $100 a trick, thank you. $85, that's all that cane does. The hat was 110, that's all it does, you know. I used to put rabbits in the hat, but they would pee. Not a lot of mystery, your hat starts peeing for no apparent reason. The other day I was watching a television program. On there they had a magician. He did a most extraordinary trick. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. He threw 1, 2, 3 into a hat. He still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. At first, I wasn't quite that impressed. I wanted to learn the trick. Went to a shop in Phoenix known as Bert Easley's. Went inside, said, "Bert, do you have the trick where the magician takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards? He throws 1, 2, 3 into a hat. He still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards." This trick has never gotten that much response. Thank you. He said, "Mike, I know the trick you're talking about. Saw a guy on television 2 weeks ago. Had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. He threw 1, 2, 3 towards the hat. He still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards." I said, "Bert, that's it." He said, "Mike, we don't have that trick." I didn't laugh much myself. You know. I said, "Bert, when could you get it?" He said, "Give me a week." So I waited a week, went back, said, "Bert, you have the trick where the magician takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. He throws 1, 2, 3 into a hat. He still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards." He said, "Mike, I'm real sorry we weren't able to get that trick for you." Oh yeah, pretty bummed out myself, sure. Not to worry, I called New York Louis Tannen. This guy has every trick in the book. I invite you all to come back next week. I'll have the one where the magician takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. He throws 1, 2, 3 into an incredibly crazy audience. He still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left. That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I didn't expect that at all. I'm going to attempt to read someone's mind in the audience. Read someone's mind. This gentleman right here, what is your name, sir?
Ruben.
Ruben, were you good in school?
Sure.
Good in math?
Yes.
Pick a color. Yeah, you were close. Hardly anyone ever gets that, Ruben. Take now. What I want you to do is think of a number between 1 and 1,000, Ruben, okay? Think of a number between 1 and 1,000, or as high as you could go. Now, Ruben... I'm writing down a prediction what I believe to be your answer, sir, and a simple yes or no will get this. Was your number 482?
No.
Your answer correctly predicted? No. I know there's people out there right now going, "Oh my God, how do you do that?" This is a short piece of rope. Examine that piece of rope. This is a medium piece of rope. You examine that piece of rope. And this over here, this is a long piece. Okay, that's enough, lady. Give me back the rope. This is a short piece. This is a medium piece. And this is a long piece. The way this trick originated was when I was in high school. We had a professor come over once a week from the college, forever baffling me with the mathematical problems. So whenever I got the chance, I tried to fool him. I said, "Professor, did you know the 3 pieces of rope were all equal?" He said, "From your thumb up, yes, otherwise you're still flunking this class." I said, "Watch closely. You bring the short piece to the top like this, the medium piece to the top like this, the long piece to the top like this." I said, "Now they're all the same length." He said, "From your thumb up, yes, otherwise you're still flunking this class." I hated that guy. I said, "Professor, watch closely. If you tug on the rope, they all 3 look like they become the same length. This is the 1 piece, this is 2 pieces, and this is 3 pieces." He turned to me, he said, "This is physically impossible. How'd you do that?" I said, "Professor, every time I do this trick, I always start with the short piece of rope first, the medium piece of rope second, and I save the long piece in case I screw up. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Our good friend Michael Finney, what a funny guy he is, doing what made him famous to begin with, magic on Comic Strip Live. Michael, thanks for coming back again.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Here I am. I think
we're encased in darkness here, but we're back.
it's a casual atmosphere, I'll tell you that.
Well, we're going to roll right on through because that's the charm of this live on tape.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, it's very unusual for you to have a few days off like this because you travel the comedy club circuits constantly. What's it like being on the road these days? Do you have any pet peeves?
Well, I'll tell you, I still enjoy being on the road, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. I've been doing it now for 9 years, about 35 weeks a year. I think putting up with hotels, I mean, obviously, that's where you stay most of the time. Now, in the beginning, we stayed in condos, but you never know who's been there before you. So hotels, basically, and it's the same concept, but you have more to deal with.
Somebody once said that they thought after staying in all these hotels that they just moved the same furniture and the same pictures from
God, I'll tell you,
room to room.
some of them have been pretty bad, but I think basically it's just traveling. The flying is kind of tough, obviously.
Now you've discovered a secret on airline seats. Obviously, you spend a lot of time in the.
And look at the folks. The next time you go out on a plane, okay, and obviously you don't want anybody to sit next to you. Do what I do. You reach for a little sleeve package, okay, and you pull out that white puke bag that and you just pop it open and set it on your lap. See,
as everybody's boarding, right?
nobody sits next to you. We'd rather sit in the back if you don't mind. That's just it's a funny little gag that I do when I'm on plane sometimes, just to get people laughing, because they all look at you like you're going to puke any minute. I'm up there smiling, I enjoy puking or something, I don't know.
Do they ever offer you a pillow and a blanket?
A pillow and a blanket and a muff and everything, man. I try to keep that down.
You are a very astute student of show business. I have not known too many people in my lifetime, personally, that have picked up on the concept of promotion and show business and putting an act together and becoming so successful so quickly. What do you think the secret of being successful in this business is today?
Well, I think you have to have a lot of desire. Desire will overcome a lack of finances sometimes. Desire means you have a love for what it is you're doing, I think. So, yeah, and I'm very lucky to be doing this, so I love it. I mean, I have a responsibility now, you know.
But you learned to promote yourself very well, very early on, and I think
I got some lucky breaks. I got some lucky breaks. As you know, one of my teachers was Jack Sutherland, and another one who was very instrumental in my act was Okie Strom. Both these two people gave a lot of themselves to help me. Okie Strom referred to me as a diamond in the rough, and he just wanted to add a few facets. So he taught me how to put table tints on tables when I was doing close-up magic, just to get it in people's minds that I was there. And obviously the clubs didn't pay for this. I paid for it, but it was just a little bit of advertising. But I don't know how all the rest of it came about. I think I just looked and learned and watched, and tried to pick up whatever I could.
There was something very special that you did for a few people that supported you early on in your career. And do you know what I'm talking about? It's a little lucky charm.
Well,
tell us the story behind that.
I used to have a club called MFinney2. I had it for like 6.5 years.
Yes, whatever happened to MFinney2?
Well, it was a matter of me not being in town and being able to watch the barn.
Yeah.
And a few of the goats and a couple of cows got away on me, so I just got out before anything got real bad. If you can't stay at home and take care of business, and then it was time to go. And MFinney2 served a great purpose for 6.5 years. It gave a lot of comics a lot of jobs, so I'm very happy with it, and I have no bad feelings about that at all. But from the beginning, there were people who just took care of me, not in the entertainment business, but people that I grew up in the business as my friend, and would offer me, like in New York, a guy by the name of Steve Eisenberg. When I went to New York and auditioned at all the clubs there, he let me stay at his house, and he drove me to all these places because I wouldn't have known where to go. As did another guy in California and a few other people. So I came up with this little gold bone. I had a guy design a gold bone for me. It's a femur bone. It's right here in your leg, and it's the strongest bone in your body. And it was for people who had done things for me, and so I gave them. I have about 22 of these things that I've given out to people who, above and beyond the call of duty, helped me for no other reason other than just to help somebody, you know. So that's
it's nice that you remembered and
As a matter of fact, we're going to have a gold bone party October the 6th. I'll be up in Bally's at Catch a Rising Star, and I've sent out invitations
in Las
to all
Vegas?
these 22 people, and they're going to come up.
I never got a bone.
You're my competition, man.
We were friendly competition for a long time. Now, another thing that I'm extremely jealous about is you won the Silver Lions Head Award from Siegfried and Roy. Tell us, what is this competition and how did this come about for you? Because a lot of these people watching have no idea. They've heard of Siegfried and Roy, but tell us about this contest.
It was, I'd been in Magic, I guess at the time, for about 6 years maybe. It's from the time I started doing Magic until this competition in 1987. And nobody really knew me in the Magic world, basically. And the year before, I'd gone in to compete in a Complete Conjurer, where we did stage Magic and close-up Magic, and we were judged on both. And
now, this is sponsored by a magic shop out of the Midwest, is that right?
Joe Stevens Magic Emporium. He's the guy that got this thing started.
And he sponsors
with
this
Siegfried and Roy's name and everything up in Vegas to create the interest.
So every year in Vegas they have this
they have this competition.
Yeah.
And I took 4th place the first year I'd ever gone in there. And that's when I got my foot in the door in the Magic world. And then a year later they had Comedy Magic, and I felt as though, well, okay, if they want Comedy Magic, I might be able to do this. So I went in there and I did the Comedy Magic competition. And it was great because the guys that were the best in the business at that time, up and coming, were there. There was Paul Kozak. There was Kevin James, Matt King, Pat Hazel, all these guys that they've been in there quite a long time. They all competed, so I felt very comfortable about the competition. It was going to be good, you know.
Right.
And I got 2nd place.
Second place is the Silver Lions Head Award.
And I feel very good about that. It was, and it just got my name known, and I got invited to do the IBM convention, the SAM convention. And I did it purely to get into the Magic world.
These are magical organizations, for those that may not know, the International Brotherhood of Magicians, Society of American Magicians. They have conventions of hundreds of people every year. Converge, get together and share magic secrets.
Major conventions, 800 to 900 magicians from all over the world.
Right, and the top magic acts are booked in
Basically,
to perform.
some of the time,
That's why I've never been to one. They've never asked me to, because I don't.
That's funny.
Well, how hard is it to get a break on a network comedy club show? You've done several of these now, Sunday comics.
Well, obviously, back when Carson had his show, it was impossible. I mean, it was very tough. Now, with the emergence, is that the right word, of comedy and comedy clubs, there is another venue for total comedy programming. So,
the Comedy Channel is
that's a perfect example right there. In the last 2 or 3 years, there's been so many comedy club shows put on the air now. Pretty much you can get on rather easy now. I think it's pretty easy, and the people will attest to this. That geez, why is that guy on TV? I mean, just about anybody that's can do something funny can get on there now. So now it's rather easy. Let's say.
But there are still some shows that are kind of tough to get on. Is that right? I mean,
Sunday Funnies probably was the toughest one so far for me to get on, but it was. They asked me to go on there. Comic Strip Live has done an awful lot for my career. Pat Buckles, Joe Drew, all the people over there at Fox Network have been really kind to me, and they've given me lots of opportunities. So,
let's talk about how a comedian develops his material, because we were talking last time you heard about structure and joke writing and that kind of thing. Take us through how you come up with some of the material that you do in your act, which is hysterically funny, by the way.
Well, I have to say that most of it, at least from my point of view, I don't do anything political. I can't do political humor because I don't understand it. You know, I'm still trying to program my VCR. So
still flashing 12, is it?
I don't do political stuff. I don't do anything strenuous, anything too emotionally involved. I try to just pick on my everyday life experiences that I've had. A good example, I think, right from my childhood, is the worst experience on a bicycle.
Oh yes, I remember. I remember this routine. I've seen you do this, and absolutely lays out a nightclub audience.
And it's just a matter. It's a real life incident that every young man growing up has slipped off of his bicycle pedal and hit that crossbar, and not with his hand. And so this was one thing that I started writing on. I do things about traveling with my parents. I enjoyed it because we had a station wagon, and my dad couldn't reach us in the back of the station wagon. So that was a safe bet.
Yeah, but he could have stopped the car.
Yeah, and I do a joke about that because my brother and I would sit up in the back bench seat and start taunting my father. Are we there yet? Or when are we going to get there? I bet if I was driving, we'd already been there. And at 65 miles an hour, he'd step on the brakes and then let off. Well, you're here now, aren't you? And I'm right there in the front seat pulling a rearview mirror out of my mouth. I think for me, it's just drawing off my own personal experience and growing
So
up.
you take a real-life incident and then exaggerate it.
Yeah, like on planes, they serve you those little bags of nuts like they're pieces of 8. You know, eight, you know, this little bag of nuts is fine if I'm a little gray squirrel. You know, in the pouch, this will get me through winter. You know, but as a human being, being 250 pounds, this bag is not going to do anything for me. You know, just those things, just picking up observational things.
But I think what you have to be is attuned, because most people would just not pay any attention to that.
Slough it off, sure.
You know, and just say, well, that's, you know, part of life or
if
whatever.
You're in comedy,
but a comedian's job is to pick up on those.
Pick up on that, yeah. So if you're in the comedy, you're gonna have some insight. And you're just gonna grab at that in any opportunity. People who drive in the slow lane with their blinker on, you know, I mean that's just one of those things that you notice.
Very much like the Seinfeld show.
He is the prince of observation, I think. He is really, really quick. There's another guy also out there that was very good. Tom Sharp does a lot of voiceovers now, a lot of television commercials for the Glad Bags of the ball-headed guy.
Right.
He's very good. He's a comedian. People don't know that, but he was a very funny comedian. Leno is also very good at that, just picking up observational stuff. He's very strong.
Yeah. Now he writes every night. I mean, he's got to come up with a monologue, and he has a staff of people that work with him.
He has a staff of writers that are in tune to how he thinks, and then he gets to go work out his material for the week. Every Sunday night, he works at the Comedy and Magic Club over in Hermosa Beach. He has a standing gig there every Sunday night. He goes in there and works out about 12 to 20 minutes of material that he will, you know, space out
for the week.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think? Is Jay going to make a run out of the Tonight Show? That's been kind of the talk around the business. Is whether
Boy, if I could predict something like that,
you'd be at the horse track.
Yeah, probably. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson is a tough act to follow. That's all I could really say there.
Yeah.
I think it's sad that they got all this aggression between all these hosts. I mean, they're all very lucky to be doing what they're doing.
Oh, sure.
If you only get 6 days or 6 years, I mean, enjoy what you're doing.
I mean, God knows I'm doing my own talk show.
Yeah, so you're trying to get to that level. I mean, I'm sure you have no grudges against Arsenio.
No, none at all. But you know what? Most people don't realize how many people started magic and then eventually worked into comedy and
very much
Arsenio,
you know
Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson.
Keep going. Carl Ballantyne. Became a good actor.
But he's not doing a talk show. But I mean,
no, just on the top.
Yeah.
Well, now Letterman, I think, did some magic too.
Oh, really?
And he hates magic now, but he did magic, and he won't tell you he did it, but he did it.
The only one that he seems to get a kick out of is Penn and Teller, but.
We can do a whole show on that.
And Harry Anderson. No, you don't like Penn and Teller?
No, they're not good for magic.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not good for magic.
Some of the things, let's talk about your hobbies, because we didn't get a chance to talk about that at all the last time you were here. Your two biggest hobbies are cars, restoring old cars, and playing golf. Now, our director in the booth, Warren Cole, has his own show, Motor Madness, that's all about the cars and stuff. What are some of the cars that you've restored?
Really? Well, Lori, my wife and I both enjoy old cars, and I think that's my favorite form of transportation because of the uniqueness and the intimacy of automobiles. I have an old 50 Chevy Deluxe that we bought that was original with 64,000 miles on it. And we have that just put away. We have a 57 Ford Fairlane that is in the restoration shop now. We've done everything from the ground up, and now we're having the motor done on it. We did rebuild a 1968 Corvette Roadster, which is, I mean, that's my little toy. That's my little baby. Those are the three cars that I have now. I've gotten rid of a couple of them. I had an old Cadillac at one time. I got rid of it.
Yeah, that was now that's a funny routine. You mentioned that in your stage act.
See, there again, it's right off my regular life.
Yeah.
It's just the easiest stuff. And usually if you can pick things right out of your own experience in your life, then you're not conflicting with other comics material.
Right.
So it's the uniqueness there again of what you're doing.
Talk about what you know.
And then golf is my release.
Now you play an awful lot of golf. You have some buddies that are they scattered around the country, and every town you play
because I travel. I mean, obviously golfing is a little bit of exercise, and it gets you out of bed, and it motivates me anyway. So yeah, I like to do that when I'm on the road, and I have opportunities to golf at many. Like I played in Arnold Palmer's course in Alton, Illinois. You know, I mean, and he sent me a real nice picture. He autographed the picture for me.
Arnie Palmer?
Yeah, Arnold Palmer. I just got it the other day in the mail, as a matter of fact.
That's neat.
I played at Doral. I played. I'm going to Scotland in 2 weeks to play St. Andrews and Muirfield and Troon.
Now, are you booked over there, or is this just a golfing vacation?
Yeah, I'm booked over there. I'm doing some shows for some clubs over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how is your humor going to translate to Scottish?
If I talk, I just have to talk a little bit slower. But theirs is more hard to dialect or decipher than ours is. They'll be able to understand me easier than I would be able to understand them.
Well, as long as they don't laugh with an accent, you ought to be
and
okay.
it's a dry. They have a dry sense of humor over there,
Yeah.
and I kind of can get dry and a little sarcastic once in a while. So I'm going to play on that. And then the magic is just universal.
Right. Do you try to now, knowing that you're going to Scotland and you played Hawaii and whatever, do you try to do any local type humor, or is that tough for you to do?
It's kind of tough to pick up on that, and if it's positive local humor, sure. If it's doing something that's not in a nice light, I just avoid it.
See, I went to Canada one time, and I was staying with some friends up there, and we were working, and they said, "Oh, you got to do Newfie jokes." Well, I read in the paper where the Newfoundland people were really upset about a lot of the negative humor that was going on. It's like doing jokes about blacks or Polacks in this country.
Or like in Arizona, doing jokes about Mesa or Apache Junction.
Yeah, right. And so I felt a little, unsettled about doing some Newfie jokes, because here I am, this Yankee from the States,
What right do you have?
Yeah, and what right do I have?
Well,
so I
see,
said, I'll leave it.
That's a perfect example of sincerity in wanting to perform and just knowing that this isn't my bit, this isn't what I do, and I'm not going to do it just to appease a few people or half the audience. It's not worth alienating half the group of people that are there.
Sure. So you have to be sensitive to your audience.
I think so,
sure. How do you see your career progressing in the next 2 to 5 years, say? Do you have plans laid out?
I'm working on some goals now. I would like to get to the level where I'm out of comedy clubs at least half of the time, and I'd like to get involved with, say, a country western singer or as an opening act. I mean, they're now where it's not advantageous or economically for them to hire a big band opening for them anymore. They have a lot of comedians doing that. I'd like to go that level for a while in the concert type situation, and then I'd like to become a character actor. I'm no Burt Reynolds, but I feel like I could be an Alan Hale type. Somebody that people don't. They know this person and they like every little bit that he does. Just a character actor.
Well, see, that's what they say. A leading actor makes one film a year. A character actor works every day.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's great. Yeah.
You're going to be performing here in the Phoenix area, and we want to be sure and show this this graphic that we have coming up. Thanksgiving.
The Last Laugh.
The Last Laugh. Thanksgiving weekend, and that is the Last Laugh Comedy Club, I-17 and Northern. November 23rd through the 29th.
Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving week. And are you going to carve while you're there?
No, I'm hoping people bring me some carvings.
want a little can of sweet potatoes,
there
Michael?
You go, yeah.
A little alms for the comedian?
No, I can eat a yam or
Are you
some olives, some black olives, one for each finger.
Are you headlining?
Yeah, I'll be there for the week,
And that means you do, what, an hour?
I do. Depending on the audience, and if they're not too tired from the other two acts that are there, a good performer knows when to leave the audience wanting more. So I do about a minimum of 40, and then if they're there, I'll do 55 to an hour.
Yeah.
I have about an hour and 20 of polished material that I feel very comfortable in delivering, and I've done it a couple of times that long, but not. I want the audience to go out there, not yawning, and
sure.
I want them still laughing and having a good time.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, personally, may I congratulate you on all of your success. It has been a kick to watch you, and it's so neat to see somebody from our valley and our community be able to go on and make it, because obviously you're a one-man chamber of commerce around the rest of the country. You know the old saying, if he's from Phoenix, how good can he be? So if you've made it and others have made it from here, Bob Kubota's another fellow that's
he's
up
doing very well out there. Dan Horn, the ventriloquist, is doing very well.
And so eventually we hope that the attitude won't be, if they're from Phoenix, they must be good, instead of how good could they be.
That'd be good.
That would be neat. Michael, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
I'm really pleased that you were here.
Good luck with the show and everything, man.
Van Corton, thank you for being here again. Play us out as we say goodbye to the folks. Thanks for being here on the New Variety Art Show this week. Tune in again next week, and remember, until then, support variety arts in your community. Roll it. We're out of here.